All right.
We are live now.
All right. Hi, Waleed. How are you doing today?
Hello, Johnny. I'm good. I hope you're safe and
Yeah,
home.
I hope. Yeah, I hope you're also safe as well. So, Rive with Flutter. It's a interesting topic. Why this topic? I mean,
Okay, so the basic idea behind this was when it was first launched by the name of Flare. So I was pretty much overwhelmed seeing that the designers they can actually turn their ideas into actual apps without the worry of how it's going to be implemented in code and without having into a lot of hassle with developers. So this was really cool for me. Like whatever is in your mind that can be translated directly without any technical stuff into the apps. So that was really cool.
yeah. I mean, it's we also use this in our current um, project. And basically, it's just you have a a designer do the animation, and then you just place it in Flutter, and it
Yeah.
makes your Flutter app, I mean, 100% more alive.
Yep.
Cool, cool. Alrighty, I guess we can start now. Hey guys, looking to spice up your Flutter app? Are you interested in how to create interactive animation? Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth Flutter at Home webinar. Our speaker today is Waleed Arshad. He's a Flutter Dart GDE and senior mobile developer at Unikrew Solutions. And today he will be talking about Rive with Flutter. It's very exciting stuff, especially if you're interested into adding animation to your Flutter application. Hello, Waleed. Thank you for accepting our invitation. All
Thank you so
right.
much.
Okay, so before we begin the webinar, I would like to take a moment to talk about Flutter Philippines. All right. Flutter Philippines is a collaborative community for anyone interested in developing apps using Flutter and Dart. We have already over 1,000 members on Meetups and Facebook. And if you're not a member yet, please visit flutter.ph for more details. I mean, you have tons of members, so it would be helpful in your learning Flutter. Now, speaking of learning Flutter, Flutter at Home 2020 is an online event by Flutter Philippines, and we are currently in the learning phase. The learning phase is all about learning how to use Flutter and Dart to help you build apps for mobile, desktop, and web. So this webinar is part of that, the Flutter at Home. Later on, we will have two challenges, the prototype and the hackathon. The prototype challenge is where you take UI designs and translate it into a Flutter screen. And of course, the hackathon challenge will be all about building a Flutter app from scratch. So, but both challenges are moved to another date. Make sure you to join our FB group for updates. Anyways, there's still time to register. So if you haven't done that yet, please go to athome.flutterph. Um, anyways, this webinar will be recorded and published on YouTube. For the QA portion later on after the webinar, you can Walid is going to answer some of your questions. You you may post your questions at flutter.ph/ask or scan the QR code right here. Um, if you would like to ask a question in your mobile phone, uh, you may also vote for a favorite question, right? And then towards the end of the seminar, we will select questions for the speaker to answer. Anyways, thank you for listening and enjoy the webinar. We will turn you over to Walid for his presentation. I hope you're ready, guys. It's quite exciting.
Yep. So just Johnny, just tell me whenever my screen is on the studio, so I'll start.
Yeah, I guess you can start. Thanks, Walid.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is Waleed, and today we are with Flutter at Home. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to Joshua, who approached me for this event, and so what we'll be talking about today is Rive with Flutter. So Rive was previously known as Flare. So this is basically a tool in which you can design your animations and then export them to Flutter directly. And you can even control your animations in Flutter. So today I'll be talking less and I'll be coding more. So I'll be just showing you how to create a simple basic animation in Rive and then export it to Flutter and then control that animation through the code. So let's just begin a little bit of my introduction. So I am basically recently I've been announced as Google Developer Expert in Flutter from Pakistan. I am a senior mobile application developer at Unikrew Solutions. Unikrew is basically a company here in Karachi. I'm been working with some of my colleagues, some of my previous colleagues. I'm the founder of Flutter Karachi, Pakistan. So Flutter Karachi was the first Flutter community in Pakistan, which was officially recognized by Google and which was officially endorsed by them. So we started doing a lot of events in the previous year, and then in this year as well, we have done one event. So I'm just sort of leading it with my colleague. So this is pretty much about me. So let's just not waste any further time, and we start our animations. So I would just want to uh, go through the code first, go through the animation first, and then through. So this is basically uh, the dashboard of Rive. When you go to rive.app and you sign up through GitHub or sign up through the email, and then you create your own file and your own Flare file. So this is the first thing that you encounter. So let's just create something. So basically, this is not a sort of tutorial. So you don't need to worry about the things that are like that you might not understand for now. So this is I'm not going to show you how to actually step by step create things, and this is not a tutorial basically. So I'll be just showing you how powerful Rive is, and how beautifully can you create animations and then consume them to Flutter. So my agenda for today is to create two animations. One is a little more complex and the other one is easy. I'll just create the complex one first, and then if we have time, I'll then create the other one. So let's just begin. So we have this bone architecture in Rive. So let's just create two bones like this. So when you create a bone, you can like move it like this. So this is attached to the bone. So you don't need to worry what is this and how it's working. You can find a lot of tutorials on the web regarding this, of official tutorials as well and all of that. So let's just create a rectangle now. Shape rectangle, and let's create this rectangle. Now this is the rectangle, and I want that this rectangle should turn this side and this side from the between, like that the pivot should be this thing, this part, and it should turn like this with this bone. So I need to, for this, I need to connect this rectangle to my bone, to both of these bones. So let's just convert it to path first. Let's just put it to artboard. Convert it to path, and then connect bones. So I just select both bones and then connect it. So now this rectangle is connected to both of the bones, right? Now the tricky part, we click edit vertices and we add some vertices of our own. So now what I'm doing here, I'm adding some of my vertices just to create this pivot. This is the sort of pivot that we want to create, right? So the our whole rectangle, this whole rectangle will be rotating through this part. So when I pick this bone and then I drag it here, so the whole rectangle will is going to, you know, rotate from this part. So let's just we have added things now. uh, let's just edit weights for them. So You don't need to worry about how I know that what the weights should be. And this can be using trial and error, or this can be learned through tutorials as well. So I just know that the weights need to be in this format. So if you want to learn more about how to give weights to them, so you can have a lot of, there are a lot of tutorials on this. So hopefully if I'm doing it right, so this is gonna rotate well. So if I'm done editing and I just rotate it, so this should rotate. See, now we are being able to rotate it. So now we need to give it animation and then consume it in our Flutter code, right? So before we do that, you see there are little jerks in the rotations. See, this is a little, it's not smooth. So we should make it smoother, right? So let's just get it smooth. We go back to edit vertices. Let me make it straight first. We go back to edit vertices, uh, and we select this. We select these both and we give it a radius of 4. Radius is, for those who have worked in Flutter and worked in code, so there is a radius for every corner, right? In Flutter as well, we give rounded rectangle corners to a lot of things. So this is the radius that you are going to give, and we'll give radius 10 to this one and 10 to this one. This is also, I just learned it all through trial and error. I just kept giving radiuses and then kept experimenting. So you need to experiment and then see what goes good for you. So we are done editing, and now when I hopefully it should see, it's quite smoother now. Like it's not giving us a little jerk. So you see, this is animating now. Good. So let's just we have now created our whole thing. Now let's just animate it. We have this design tab and this animate tab here. So in the design tab, you add all the assets, you add all the things that are needed, and in the animate tab, you just go for the animation. So you can also import your images, your SVG files as well. They can be animated as well. So right now I just created a rectangle because obviously I'm not a designer. So the whole idea is that I, being not a designer, am able to create animations in this thing and then exporting it to Flutter. So just imagine how real designers can work in this. Like, so the whole idea of this is to decouple the developer journey with the designer journey. So whenever a designer thinks out of the box regarding some animation, that a bubble should, like for example, a bubble should come flying from the top and then creating and then turning itself into a floating button. So when you think of this whole idea inside the code, you will be thinking a lot of stuff. How I will tune it, how I will shape transform it, how the shape will be changed, and how it will squeeze and how it will turn into floating action button. All of this you don't need to think now, because that's the job of the designer, and the designer will do it inside Rive, and then you will just need to consume it in Flutter. So for those, let's just turn to animate. For those who are into Photoshop and Premiere, Adobe Premiere, so they must be familiar with timelines and all of that. So let's just place it here. So this is our timeline, and I have created two animations, left and right. Right, so both are right now empty. So when I'm animating the left thing, so this rectangle should turn to left, and when I'm animating the right, so this rectangle should turn to the right. So one more tricky thing is this left and this right are the keys, right? So whatever you are going to write in this part, this is going to become the key of your application inside your Flutter code. So my Flutter code knows this key. Whenever I assign this key, it will run this animation assigned to this. Whenever I assign this key, the Flutter code will run animation assigned to this key. So let's just create an animation for the left. So this is a timeline. I have created it for like a half second or 1 second, I guess. So in the beginning, the color of this rectangle should be grayish something, and when we are moving, just wait, when we are here, then this rectangle should move here. So basically, the bones, they are not going to appear in your app, right? Your app will just show this rectangle. So when you are here, so you need to see that now it's animating. So what I did was I just dragged it to my final destination, final position, and I just created the animation by dragging it. So when you drag it, it itself creates a frame. So I now need to give it a color as well, so that when it rotates left, it should have some color. So let's just give it this color. So now see, whenever I animate this, it animates and it changes its color. See, this is a left animation. Now we need to create right animation for the same kind, right? So let's just create the right animation for the same kind. We just copy this whole because pretty much is the same, and we move to right and we paste this, right? So this is pretty much the same animation. The only difference is we have to move this from here to here in the case of right, and we need to change its color to something else, something blue gray type. So this is our right animation. See how simple it is. So I just created two animations, left and right. Now you are getting the idea, like you must be getting the idea. Whenever I'm going to uh, take this to Flutter code, there should be two buttons, which with left and right. Whenever I tap the left button, the animation should turn to left, and whenever I tap the right button, the animation should move towards right. So these are the two animations that I'm going to control. So this is pretty, this is a little jerky, right? It's not going traveling smooth. So let's just have some interpolation. We select this frame and we see that we have this key interpolation here. We turn this to cubic and we turn this to like this. So basically how I know what to do here is all trial and error. So you can watch tutorials as well how to manipulate this interpolation. I learned this all through trial and error. I just kept experimenting how it should work, and I was able to. So now you see it's a little in we see a little inertia in this, right? So this is a little, animation is a little smooth now. So we do the same thing with the left one as well. We go to cubic and we have this uh, animation as well. So we have now both animations ready. Now let's just export this file, and whenever I export it, it will export me this file as an fah.flr. So we have this FLR file inside our when we export it, we get a FLR file. So let's just jump to code. In code, the first thing that you need to do is you need to go to pubdev, you need to go to Flare, and Flare underscore Flutter is a package that you need to integrate in your Flutter app. So let's just copy this. Uh, let's just paste it here. Packages get, and we'll get the packages, and we have it. Now we need to uh, add this Flare actor. This is a widget that Flare provides, that this package provides. So let's just add this to our main UI. So this is the UI that is running right now. I'm just going to remove everything, and I'm going to add an expanded widget, and I'm going to add this Flare animation inside this. And it's asking me to like import it. So what I'm going to do, this animation key, this is the thing that is the key inside our Flare code. So we saw the key here, left and right. So this is the thing that I'm going to assign here. So we keep this animation for now empty, and we say assets slash fah.flr. That's our file name. So we don't have assets folder yet, so we need to create it now. So let's just create a new directory named assets. We just drag this fh flr into assets, and we just tell pubspec as well that we have assets now. So let's just tell this thing that we have assets. Just remove all of this. We say assets and we packages.cat. So now we are done with everything. Now if I restart this, this should probably show me the rectangle in its initial state, right? Let's see. See, this is a rectangle that we created. So it's not animating right now, obviously, because we haven't given any animation here. So let's just first of all uh, remove this. It creates, it irritates me, right? Huh? So let's just get back to animation. For suppose I just assign left to this right now, and I hot reload it, so it will animate towards left. See, it animated toward left. And when I assign it right, so it's going to move toward right. Now we should have two buttons, right? So let's just add two buttons inside our column. Button bar, children, raise button, child, text, left, and child, right. And we set its main axis. Uh, Main axis alignment dot space between. We have two buttons now, and they are like uh, at the center, at the bottom. So we just remove this floating action button. Why? Okay, sorry. We just removed this, and we just put this whole thing in the safe area so that uh, we don't see the buttons going inside. So now both of these buttons should change this animation widget, this animation string, right? So when we on press this, we say that you should set state our animation value to left. Now the animation value doesn't exist, right? So we need to create it. String animation equals to empty at the beginning, and we assign this animation to this. And we copy the same thing in our right button, sorry, and we say right. So we have left, we have right. Now just restart it. So see, initially the thing is not animating. Why? Because we have assigned this animation to an empty string. So according to our Flare, according to our Rive dashboard, and the animations will only run when we have a left or a right. So right now we don't have anything, so it's not going to animate. When we click the buttons, we tap the buttons, only then it's going to animate. So let's just see that if it works or not. So when I tap on the left, it's going to animate to the left. It's cool. It's looking good. And when we tap on the right, so it's going to right, it's going to left, right, left. So now you see the possibility, the people who are watching me and the people who are designers, basically, now you can just understand how cool it is to carry out the whole animation thing. This is just an example to show you how much possibilities are there through this code. So we can just manage it, that you can see a little jerk here. So when you click the right button, it comes to its initial state and then it animates. So you can just handle it through a lot of ways, like you want to animate it from the right to left or from left to right. So you can just do it a lot. There are a lot of ways to do it. So this was one basic simple animation. So since we have time left, so I will just show you one more animation in this through this Rive, which is the basic animation. uh, let's just delete the bones as well. So let's just create an animation which says that tap a star, when you tap a star, it should pop up and it should, change its color. So this is our star. We want that when we tap this star, it should animate, it should pop up, and it should go back, and it should change its color, just like we tap on the love icon of Twitter and Facebook and all that. So the little icons, they animate, right? So we are going to try to build a sum of that. So this star has an initial color of nothing. So we just keep it to white, I guess. Yeah, white's fine or gray is fine. Cool. So let's just animate. In the beginning, uh, let's just zoom out. In the beginning, here we need to set its color to gray. So we have this frame now. And when we come halfway through, so this star is going to get bigger. And for some time, it should stay bigger. And then it should come back to its original state. So you see what I did there? What happened? Oh, sorry. I need to make it smaller. You see, what I did there was I just created simple animation in which a star is popping up and then going back. So it's pretty fast. We need to make it a little slow. So let's just drag this. So see, now it's looking like you have tapped it. So it's getting up, it's staying for a little longer, and then it's going back. So still, we are not I'm not comfortable in this is not smooth, right? So we still go for the interpolation part. So let's just trial on a trial and error basis. We just try some things. We just reverse this, and here we just create this. So let's see what it does. So now you see it's a little, smooth. So it's still too fast. So let's just make it small. Now you see that it can be consumed inside the app. Now we need to change its color as well. So we have this gray color in the beginning, and we want to have some other color when we, so let's just put it red or put it yellow, because stars, so we want this to be yellow for for the longer run, right? So we want it to be yellow forever after we once tap it. So let's just go here, copy this, and we just go here, just paste it. and we just paste it here as well, so that it stays the same even after we see. When you tap the star, it turns yellow and it pops up and it goes back. So let's just change this left to uh, favorite. That would be our animation in our Flutter. So let's just export it again, and this time I'm going to change its name to star, and I'm going to again drag this inside assets folder, and I'm going to add another expanded widget. Let's see if it works, because there are two big assets inside, so I guess the screen might go out of bounds. Star.flr animation should be empty, and let's see what it does. So we have both of them. So now the basic idea is when I tap this, it should turn uh, into a yellow star. So let's just create a list tile so that uh, we can like actually see a good use case for that. Trailing, sized box, width 40, child, and in this child we get this character. Let's see if it works. Like I'm writing this code for the first time. I don't know whether it will work. So we have this little star here, right? So we need to uh, let's just remove this so that it becomes in the center, and 100 be fine. We have this like star, and now whenever I want to tap it, so it should turn yellow. So let's just add uh, a gesture detector which says on tap set state uh, favorite animation equals to favorite. So this doesn't exist, so we'll create it. String favorite animation equals to empty, and we assign this favorite animation to this favorite animation. Right. So what we did the same thing which we did with these buttons. We assigned an animation to this flare actor, and we set this animation on tap. So let's just see if it works or not. Whenever I tap this, it should like it should pop up and then turn into yellow. So let's just try. See, it did. So like you can just add one more animation which says that when you tap it again, so it should convert back into a gray star. So you can like handle it from here, from the Flutter Flare package. So you see how cool and how easy it is to manage animations in Flutter using Rive. So today we just learned two types of basic animations. The first one was to rotate an object using vertices and using weights and using the edges and all that using bones. So let me just show you one more thing, just for the people who want to explore it. Uh, I have this folk. This is one which was created by the team, like the Flare team. So you see the bone architecture which I just used in my rotation. This is one of them. So the bones are quite, real life. They are too real life. They have nodes, they have bones, and when you play it, they act like. See, it runs like a real human. When we run this human 5, it runs like a real human. So you see how cool it is. It is actually running like a human. So this is all about the bone architecture. I'm just really impressed with this bone architecture, right? Oh, okay. See this. So this is a node to which all the bones are connected, and you tell the reference points, you tell its reference points, and then the bones are stick to them. So you can create your characters of your games and a lot of stuff. So this is all about how much you explore. So all these animations are here, and all of this is open source. Like, this is created by the team. I just forked it and I started experimenting things on my own, so you guys can do that as well. So this was all about it today. We learned two kinds of animation. The first, through bones, through vertices, rotating a rectangle towards left and right. We learned about how to use these keys into our code, into a Flutter code. We learned how to create animations, create favorite type of animations, pop-up animations in Rive, and we just learned how designers can get into Rive and then create their ideas and get their ideas into implementation without the hassle of all of the code and stuff. So this was all from my side today. I guess I ended it early, but that's, I guess, it's enough for today. I've given a lot of things to explore. So this is basically all about how much you explore. So I'm just going to go to my presentation back, and so this is my email. Thank you so much. You can just email me regarding all of the stuff that I showed you today regarding the Flutter or Flutter code and Dart stuff. So basically, I'm the GDE for Flutter and Dart. I started exploring this Flare and Rive around a year ago. So since then, I'm just experimenting stuff and all that. Whenever I get time, I just dive into this and see what's new in there. So there are a lot of things that you can explore, and there are a lot of things that I might not know that you might not tell me, and there are a lot of things that I might tell you. So it's all about learning and exploring stuff. So thank you so much. I'm going to stop my screen sharing right now, and then I can get back to StreamYard so that I can take questions for you from you guys. So
Oh, all right. Thank you, Waleed. That was a really interesting topic, especially how easy it is to just create a simple animation and place it on your Flutter app, and then you made it all interactive. So, anyways, we will go ahead and take some time for questions now.
okay,
We'll check. Okay. We have a couple of questions here already. I guess we'll start
yep.
with the first one. Is it possible to load exported Rive animation to an app from a server, like Lottie's JSON files, for the possibility of easily changing animations via API?
Okay, so I just heard it. I just read it somewhere that Lottie is being supported, uh, but I have no idea regarding that. Regarding exporting already exported Drive animations to from a server, I've not explored it yet, but I guess that can be done, right? I guess that can be done. I'm not sure about it, but I'll just search on it and I'll just get back to the person, whoever, like the guy can contact me on email, so I'll just get back to that person.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Next one is Versi. Um, can Rive interpolate from one animation to another animation, even if the first animation is not done yet, seamlessly or smoothly?
Yeah, that was actually the thing that I was trying to tell you. That uh, when I animated the first part,
Mhm.
the second part was animating from the beginning, right? When it jerks to the first thing and then it animates. So you can do that. You can, like, you need to do that in Rive. You need to and you need to handle it in the code as well.
Mm,
So when the first animation is completed, you animate Rive from the first animation to the second animation, and you handle it in the code using a boolean that you should not let the second animation go before the first animation. So what you can do is you can create an animation in Rive.
Mhm.
Like for suppose you can create a left animation in Rive, and then instead of creating the right animation from the beginning point, you create the right animation from the left animation. So it will seamlessly move to left from right, and then you need to handle it in your code. That's one way of doing it. You can have other ways as well. That's one way of seamlessly doing it in my example.
I see. Okay, so it takes a bit of tweaking. All
Yep.
right, cool. All right, so the next one is can you import image files to Rive, or do I need to redraw them on Rive?
Previously, when it was Flare, images were not supported, but now images are supported. So you can like import your images. You can import your SVG files as well, and you can
Okay,
just work with them seamlessly.
nice. Okay, cool. Next one is from Versi again. I haven't found any good documentation or tutorial how to add drag gestures to animate the position of any object. Can you demo one or link to a GitHub source?
Okay, so drag gesture is a part of Flutter code, right? So you can like pick up the drag gesture in Flutter code, right?
Mhm.
So you just need to put your Rive animation, and you need to apply that key to your drag animation. Whenever you apply the key to the drag animation, whatever animation you put, that when you drag it, the animation will work. So that's one
Mhm.
way of doing it. So if I get time, I'll just create uh, a sample of code and sample of Rive, and then I'll open source it for you. So you
All
can
right.
contact me on email, right? This guy.
Okay. Probably later we'll
Yeah.
flash your email again. Okay. Next one. Okay, we have a bunch here. So when you export the file, what is the difference between FLR and JSON formats?
So basically, FLR and JSON are completely two different things, right? JSON
Mhm.
is the data that you get from the APIs and you get from the servers just to consume your data into your app. So that's key value pairs. JSON is key value pairs. FLR is custom built file from Rive that can be exported directly to Flutter, and that can be consumed by that Flare actor, the Flare actor widget that you see, the
Mhm.
Flare actor that's also developed for Rive. So FLR is basically completely different thing from JSON. So
Mhm.
you cannot like normally open an FLR file in your computer and stuff. So it's basically created in Rive for
Mhm.
exporting it to Flutter.
Uh, it's kind of like a binary already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. All right. How would Rive files, I guess FLR files, affect the performance of the Flutter app?
Okay, so there are a lot of questions regarding performance. So Flutter is basically as you all know, it runs on GPU, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't run on the CPU. So the first thing is it all renders on the client side. It does not bridge. It does not go to bridging for reading the native architecture. So it runs uh, on the GPU seamlessly. So the first thing is it's very performant, and
Mhm.
if you watched the Flutter Live event in the previous year, so they just showed some animations in the history of everything app, right? I guess
Mhm.
you guys know it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
history of everything that's completely based on Rive, and all the animations are based on Flare and Rive. So that's quite performant, and there must be a lot of Rive files inside that application, and it runs like smooth in old phones, in new phones, everything. They just gave a really good demo, so you got to see that. And the guy whoever has asked this question, you got to see the Flutter live show in which they demoed the whole history of everything app. That's perfect. It's seamless, so you don't need to worry about the performance.
Okay. I guess we'll post a link to our Facebook group. All
Yep.
right. Okay. So this one is from Khalid. Khalid. Um, he asks, can I animate or manipulate SVG paths in Rive?
I guess yes. I have not tried it myself, but Johnny, if you have tried it, I think that we can do it, right? Or not? SVG because we can create our own paths in Rive. So I guess SVG must be because I have myself haven't explored SVGs
Hmm.
because I never create SVGs. I'm not working in
True.
Illustrator and all that, so I don't know about it. But I guess I have a gut feeling that it's supported. I'll just
Yeah.
try it and I'll just tell you.
All right. Yeah, I guess it's vector, so yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess SVG can be used for Rive. You can import SVG assets and yeah, same for the image files as well. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Alrighty. So a few more. Um, how does Flare handle the accessibility setting for reduce motion on iOS?
Okay, so basically this is a native based question. So I'm not a native iOS developer, so I have never worked with reduced motion in iOS. So basically I don't I have no idea of how it's going to handle under the hood,
Mm,
but it works seamlessly on iOS as well. So whatever this is, I'll just explore it and I'll just see what answer can be, what good answer can be given for this. So
okay,
basically, I'm
cool.
not a native developer, so I have no idea regarding this.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Next one is if a Flutter mobile app in Rive animation exported as Flutter web, will the animations work too?
Okay, so if you go to the Flare package, the Flutter underscore Flare package, you see that it's written Flutter, Android, iOS, and web. So this obviously supports web. So you might need to like I guess you might need to change a little configurations or not because in this package I don't see any specific configurations for Flutter web. So you just need to seamlessly if I just create this if I just run this app on the Chrome, I guess it will work fine with web as well because the
Okay.
package is supporting web. So in whenever you are working with Flutter and you want that something you want to know if something is working with web or not, you just go to the package and just see if the package is supporting web. If the package supports web, it will work seamlessly.
Alrighty. Yeah, and if you actually go to the Rive website, they have examples there. It's all animated. It's done in Rive. It's those are Flare files, and it's all animated.
Yep.
So, so next one would be: is it possible to import from Photoshop or other animation software to Rive?
Yeah, SVG. We talked about SVG. So
Mm-hmm.
you can just import, you can just export your SVGs from Illustrator or from other animation software and then export it and import it directly to Rive.
Okay, cool.
Yes, you can do that.
All right. And the last one, it it is better to create a splash screen to Rive or better to use the default splash screen animation of Flutter?
That depends upon how complex your splash screen is and how much you want to use it. Like I just was working with some app recently. I created an splash screen with Rive, and I have created the same splash screen with animation in code in Flutter code as well. So obviously, animation in Flutter code was a little difficult. In Rive, it was really easy. But I would again say it depends upon the type of animation that you want to create. If you have a very complex animation, something's
Mhm.
running here and then converting into some uh, various characters, so I guess that's a lot of ideas, so that can be created in Rive better rather than you create a lot of code and then you waste a lot of time in creating those animations through code. So I it depends upon the type of a splash that you want to create.
Sure. I mean, the more complicated it is, I guess Rive is the best answer,
Yep.
I guess. Cool. So I think that's the last one. But I think
Yep.
we have a bit more time.
We have like 14 minutes.
Oh, I think Johnny got disconnected.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for giving us very informative and very helpful talk.
Thank
Walid,
you,
hope
Joshua.
we could. Johnny's back. Hey, Johnny,
Johnny.
you got
Hi.
disconnected.
Yeah, I got disconnected. Alrighty. Well,
Right.
anyways, I
I
guess
see some comments as well. That people are thanking me. So thank you very much for listening, everyone, guys. So can we screen increase the font size of editor? Like I was not being able to read the comments while I was coding, so I'm sorry for that. The next time I'll just increase the code. Increase. Is there any listener
Question.
at Flare Actor or like on complete listener? Okay, so I just went through this problem as well. Is there any listener at Flare Actor? So I haven't explored it yet, but I guess once in the beginning when I was trying to get a way around for that, I just calculated the time of my animation in Rive, and then I waited in my Flutter code. That's a very bad hack for doing it, but I did it that way. So I have not explored the on complete listener part. So I guess there must be something that's there in the Flare Actor package. That should be the part of the package, right? I guess there must be something.
Yeah, from
Right,
what I
guys.
remember, you can override um, a specific class in the Rive where you could, somehow hack the callback if the animation is
Yep,
finished. But yeah, you could just simply uh, point out, point it to the timer, reference to the
yep,
animation or duration of the animation.
yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you,
Alrighty.
Joshua. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you,
Alrighty.
Z.
Thank you.
Oh,
Can I develop a complete game using only Rive? Oh, yes, that's a really good question. So basically, Rive and Flare, the basic idea behind this is leading towards game development, leading towards character development in games. Basically, Flutter, Google themselves are not like endorsing it for games. They haven't, but you can create complete games in Rive. Yes, you can do that. You can, because you can control animations through Flutter, and they are seamless. They can be seamlessly controlled. All the animations in Rive, they can be seamlessly controlled in Flutter. So yes, you can create games. You might create some small games in Flutter in Rive, but I cannot assure you that you might create a very heavy game in Rive or not, because like I'm myself exploring it, so I have like not explored it in perspective of a game. But yes, you can create a
mm,
small game. That's for sure, because it's pretty performant.
yeah. I think I saw some small time game developers that have done that as well.
Yep.
So yeah, before we wrap up, I guess Waleed, do you have anything else that you wanted to add or cover before we wrap up? I mean, you can also share your email again, just for
Yeah,
the
so I
viewers.
can I can just share it. Uh, I can just share it with you, and you can you can copy it at your screen, right? Or not?
Ah, yeah, I guess
I
so.
think we'll add details on the YouTube live
Okay,
stream
cool.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. So guys, later on, check it out, so you can get Waleed's details. So if you have other questions, you can go with that one.
You can, like, guys, you can catch me on LinkedIn as well and Twitter as well. So you just need to search me. I'll just be there.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool.
All right. Great. Great. Anyways, thank you everyone. We appreciate you being here and when watching our webinar. Uh, Please watch out for future webinars and schedules by going to our site, flutter.ph, or the Flutter at Home website. Let me just share that. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, so anyways, you can always go and check out our Facebook group and the meetup pages for any updates. Um, Thank you again, Walid, for that wonderful webinar.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
and
you
thanks
again.
again. Thanks
Thank you,
again,
Joshua.
everyone.
Thank you, Z. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, everyone, for watching. It was a really good time. Thank you.
Yes, it was. All right, thank you guys,
Waleed,
and
Guys,
thanks everyone.
all
see
right,
you
Thank
all
you.
again next time.
Bye.
stay safe.
Stay safe.